woke. She's a garden variety neurotic, an artsy, crafty type, an odd jobber, and a volunteer at large. Her repertoire includes, in the Chicago performance community, storytelling, spoken word, original monologues, and poetry. And now she's here to tell us a story. Jackie.
Wow, these storytellers are so dynamic. I hate to be like Captain Bring Down here, but I won't disappoint. So, my mother-in-law is coming in town. It's for an unrelated matter, like having to do with Christmas or something. And she really likes to have a cheese tray waiting for her when she gets off the plane and comes to our apartment. So we have no such thing in the house, and my husband says, really, given the circumstances, I think it's okay if you don't have a cheese tray. And I tell him, look, I believe in the power of cheese just as much as the next person, but whether or not I have a cheese tray here for your mom isn't going to bring my dad back from the dead now, is it? Yeah, I get back from the Aldi, and I have to start making travel arrangements. And of course, I go online, and Expedia fucks up my reservation, so I call the customer service rep, and I start peppering her with questions. Like, it's not my proudest moment, but I was, given the circumstances, I was on a very short tether, and I peppered her with these rhetorical questions like, what, do you think I'm an idiot? And am I supposed to call American Express on the day of my father's memorial asking them to reverse the pre-authorization charges? And what are you thinking? She starts to cry and then puts me on perma hold. Then I start to cry too. This whole thing with my dad just feels like weird, like it shouldn't be happening, or it's some kind of mistake. See, my dad, he didn't die. You can find him, he's just in the day room watching the game. I'm sure he's entertaining a lot of people. You really know how to work a room. No, my dad is not dead. He's not in his room because he wandered off somewhere. I mean, he's in a nursing home. He does that, and you look hard enough, you'll find him somewhere. My father has fallen down and he can't get up. No, it's not my father who died, it's his roommate. You're mistaken. You mixed that up pretty badly, I think. But no, this isn't some fucking episode of The Simpsons, and my brother doesn't call me back saying, like, busted or psych. And in fact, he's pretty busy right now. He's on the phone with a nursing home because my stepmother, in anticipation of this happening, stopped taking their phone calls, and somebody has to be responsible for claiming the body. Well, my stepmother, realizing sooner rather than later that she was going to have to deal with the job, is at the funeral home calling my brother, asking him to put $5,000 on his credit card to cover all the services for my dad. My brother says, yeah, I don't think that it works quite like that. Whatever two synapses were not firing when I made the decision to give away every single pair of black dress pants that I owned last move, really need them to start working together right about now. I go in my closet, I find something respectable for my days in corporate America to squeeze into, and then I sit down to have a little chat with my mother-in-law over some tea, and we go over the questions that I am not to ask my stepmother regardless of how hard she tries to bully my brother or me. Who is going to pay for this internment? Because I sure as bugfuck don't have the resources to pay for anything. What happened to all the money from the condo sale 10 years ago? It was supposed to go for this sort of thing. How could you let him gamble away $100,000? And why, oh, why didn't you guys plan for something like this to happen? Then I pack up my shit and head to O'Hare 3 days before Christmas to fly out of town on a discount air carrier. Flight attendants, I would play me very carefully with the cheery holiday crap if I were you. On my way to my hotel in Philly, I'm going over this again in my head, and I feel bad, but I'm like a little resentful that he died so close to the end of the year. See, on Christmas, I can say, my dad died 5 days ago. On my birthday, I can say, my dad died 10 days ago. And then on New Year's Eve, if I'm looking particularly somber, whatever festivity I'm at, oh, my dad died last week. And the problem is that on January 1st, I'm on equal footing with no one. Somebody whose dad dies on January 2nd, they got the whole damn year ahead of them to be all like, oh yeah, my dad died this year, and they're upset and nobody bats an eyelash. Me, I say, yeah, my dad died last year and I'm all bent out of shape and people look at me like I'm loony. Not that I want to go around all bent out of shape, but man, I could not evoke a poker face like my dad. That genius was not passed down to me. At the memorial, I don't even try to top my brother's stories about my dad. He told this really great one about this time that like he had to go on a Cub Scout camping trip and he was positive that my father wasn't going to go, but my dad showed up for it. He was dressed impeccably, and this is a man who sent his jeans to the dry cleaners. There's like a razor sharp thing right here, and always had a Benson and Hedges hanging out of the corner of his mouth. And yeah, so he goes on this Cub Scout camping trip, and he maintains this nattiness like throughout the whole 3 days. They're looking for pine cones and flipping pancakes, and he's there with Benson and Hedges, like making all the other dads laugh. It was pretty amazing. I don't know. My stories are a little different, so instead I bring pictures. And I've got this one picture of him at 18 years old. It's a black and white photo of him in his first car. It's pretty badass. And I also have a picture of us hanging out at the neighbors. And he split with my mom, never really got like another house. So this photo of us is in like the fancy neighbor's fancy backyard with their purebred dogs, and it looked good. We cleaned up well. I will say that about him. And then there's another picture of us from 1985 where we're in a camera store and they're like testing these things for 2 seconds called like a disc camera or something, and they were testing it out, and we're standing next to each other. I look every bit my father's daughter under my big hair and our turned up collars. So I go around, I show these pictures to people and tell them what led up to the pictures, but these are not my people. See, my stepmother's family has commandeered this whole operation, the internment, the memorial, and it's something else. I don't know about your families, but in my family, whoever pays the piper calls the tune. So for that day, they are my people. And I just make sure to lay it on really thick, like the gratitude when I'm up and sharing, when it's my turn to talk at the memorial. And I make this mental note for myself that I am going to write them a thank you letter on the heaviest cardstock that the paper store sells when I get back to Chicago. It's Christmas Eve, and I'm headed back to Chicago. I'm walking through Philly International, and that list of like unanswered questions is going through my head. But there was one that I left off. I was hoping it would be resolved during this whole thing, but I never quite got an answer. And that's, what did my dad die of? I mean, he laid down to take a nap and never woke up. Okay, I understand that, but what was the deal? I mean, the dude, he smoked like a chimney. He hated dental floss. I mean, he was always like, he'd always come back from his doctor's appointments like, I'm a modern fucking miracle, Jack. And you know, like he beat cancer, he beat Alzheimer's. Parkinson's not so much. And so I don't know what what the deal was with him dying, and I guess I could request a copy of the death certificate in a few weeks, and I'd have to pay for that. And what if I get the death certificate back and it doesn't tell me anything? What if all it says is that he died of heart failure, which is kind of what everybody dies from? And maybe I would be better off just taking that money and spending it on sushi or getting my nails done, and living with the unanswered questions. Thank you.
Quite a lot. Please get a drink, find your little tickets, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you.